Well, thank you for joining us today as we announce the best 180 degrees branches from around the world for 2015 to 2016. But before we do that, I want to answer one question. It's a question I'm commonly asked, and I think it's pretty relevant. And that question is simply why? Why is it that so many people get involved in 180 degrees? Why is it that we have 15,000 really talented young people around the world who have been involved in 180 degrees as volunteer consultants and who have dedicated their time, their abilities, their expertise, their creativity, their problem-solving abilities to the work that we do? Now, the answer to that question will vary person to person, but there is one common thread, one common theme, one thing that keeps coming up time and time again as I speak to our volunteer consultants. And what I hear is that people get involved in 180 degrees. People get excited by 180 degrees because of the stories that they as individuals are able to create. What stories am I talking about? I'm talking about stories of how they've been able to apply their unique abilities and expertise to help improve the work that good organizations do, to help those organizations to overcome challenges and reach their full potential. And stories of how that, in turn, has transformed and improved the lives of people on the ground for the better. It's those stories of how a person has transformed an organization which has transformed lives, which really is the heart of 180 degrees. There's one story that comes to mind here, and that's from the past year. This is the story of Anna Alvarez. Anna joined 180 Degrees Consulting in Berlin. And of that experience, she says, and I quote, "When I joined 180 Degrees, it changed my life and introduced me to a community of change makers and inspired me to become one myself." That's what Anna says, and it did inspire her because 180 Degrees resulted in her co-founding a non-profit organization called Migration Hub. Now, Migration Hub is a fantastic non-profit organization. What it is an incubator and accelerator for entrepreneurs working to solve problems facing refugees all around Europe. And what these entrepreneurs are doing, supported by Migration Hub, is trying to improve the lives of people who are fleeing Syria and other war-torn zones. That's really important. Not only did 180 inspire Migration Hub, but actually 180 Degrees branches in Italy and the UK are also working with 180 Degrees branches in Germany to ensure that that Migration Hub model that is working so well expands throughout Europe so that we can help more refugees in need and give them lives of dignity. That's just one story out of hundreds upon hundreds of stories that 180 Degrees creates every year. Another story is of how we helped hundreds of women in Ukraine who had been subjected to sex slavery, who weren't able to get jobs and therefore weren't able to support their families. But as a result of the work that 180 Degrees did, with a variety of organizations, including groups like A21, hundreds of those women now have jobs, can support themselves, can support their families, and again live lives with dignity. Those are some of the stories about how we're transforming lives on the ground. And there are many more that I don't have time to go into. But those stories are what really excites me about 180 Degrees. Actually, while we're at it, it's worth pointing out that right at the moment we have 20 consultants on our inaugural Impact Fellowship program in Peru. We selected 20 of our best consultants from around the world and have flown them to Peru. They arrived there 2 days ago, and they're working with 3 great social enterprises in the country. One that's focused on improving sanitation in rural villages, another one that is providing high quality education to underprivileged girls, and another one that's working on expanding access to clean, fresh water. 3 really worthwhile projects, and we're going to be working with them to ensure that their services can be expanded to help more people in need in rural Peru. Those are just some of the many stories that we create. But let's get on to the Best Branch Awards, because that's really what I want to talk about. Now, over the past year, 180 Degrees has expanded our impact via expanding our growth. We're now in 33 countries. We now have 81 branches. And at any point in time, we have about 5,000 volunteer consultants working on different consulting projects all around the world. And some of those branches have done a truly amazing job. They've gone above and beyond. And I want to recognize those branches today. Now, we give out 4 different awards in each of our 3 main regions around the world. The Americas region, our Asia Pacific region, and our Europe, Middle East, Africa region. So firstly, to the Americas region. And we give out a Best Branch Award. We also give out an Endeavor Award for Most Improved and for Innovation. And then we give out Best Branch Runner-Up Awards and also Best Branch in the region. So the Best Branch in the Americas, I'm pleased to congratulate UC Berkeley. The Endeavor Award goes to Hofstra. The Best Branch Runner-Up Awards go to 2 truly outstanding branches, 180 Degrees Texas A&M and 180 Degrees NYU. And the Best Branch in the Americas goes to a branch that has received almost perfect feedback scores from both consultants and from clients. Let me read out some of the feedback that this branch has received. They worked with Habitat for Humanity, who said, 180 Degrees surpassed my highest expectations. They worked with Red Cross, who said, I can't think of any way that the consulting work could have been better. And they worked with another organization that said, quote, engaging, stimulating, eye-opening, valuable, rewarding, fun, worthwhile, a definite 10 out of 10. It's great to see this branch working with really worthwhile organizations who clearly value the work that they're doing a lot. And that branch, I'm pleased to congratulate 180 Degrees Michigan. Let's now move to our Asia Pacific region. And the best new branch here goes to Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, HKUST. The Endeavor Awards for Innovation and Improvement. This is a joint award shared by 180 Degrees Bond and 180 Degrees Taiwan. 180 Degrees Taiwan in particular has done a phenomenal job bringing together all non-profits around Taiwan and ensuring that there's collaboration and partnerships between them and that there's a reduction in unnecessary duplication. So congratulations to those branches. 180 Degrees Best Branch Runner-Up in the region. This is again a joint award, which is shared by 180 Degrees Melbourne and 180 Degrees University of New South Wales. And the best branch in Asia Pacific for the past year goes to a branch who again has achieved real lasting impact on the ground. They've done a range of hugely impressive projects. One of those was with an organization called Essential Need, which aims to solve water poverty. And as a result of the work that this branch did with Essential Need, an extra 90,000 days of clean water have been provided to communities in need on the ground. That's just one way that this branch has really improved living standards in developing countries. And that branch is 180 Degrees Macquarie. And let's now move to our Europe, Middle East, Africa region, where the Best New Branch Award is shared between 180 Degrees Lisbon and 180 Degrees UCL. The Endeavor Award for Innovation and Improvement goes to a branch that has done a phenomenal number of projects, all to a very high standard, and that is 180 Degrees London School of Economics. The Best Branch Runner-Up Awards go to 3 branches in this region, who we couldn't split, who have all done a really incredible job. And I've loved reading about the stories that they've created, about the impact that they've done. These branches, the Best Branch Runner-Up Awards for Europe go to 180 Degrees Hamburg, 180 Degrees Munich, and 180 Degrees Bocconi. One of the projects that these branches have done was with an organization called App Camps. App Camps is a great organization that teaches coding skills to disadvantaged girls around Europe. And as a result of the work that 180 Degrees did with App Camps, an extra 15,000 underprivileged girls will now have access to that free coding training to help them develop new, really useful transferable skills and to get ahead in life. That's just one story that those branches have been able to create. Which brings us to the best branch in Europe, which also happens to be the winner of the best branch worldwide. This is a branch that has gone above and beyond, who's taken sort of the consulting quality to a whole new level, even though it was already very high. This is a branch that got phenomenal feedback from organizations like Red Cross, who said that they did truly phenomenal work. It's an organization that worked with an organization called Matter to provide an extra 90,000 students with free tutoring in maths and English, people who couldn't afford that level of high quality tutoring before. And they've worked with the Children's Cancer Foundation to ensure that families who have someone in that family suffer from cancer, particularly children, now are able to be supported financially during that period so that they're not stressed, so that they have certainty around the level of support that they'll receive. That's real impact for communities and families that need it. So I'm pleased to give out the Best Branch in Europe and the Best Branch Worldwide Award to 180 Degrees Luleå in Sweden. Congratulations. And so they're all the Best Branch Awards from the past year. But I want to thank all our 81 branches, all our consultants, thousands of consultants all around the world who have dedicated their time to work on high impact projects. Consultants normally give over 10 hours of their time every week to help organizations to overcome challenges, to achieve their full potential, to better achieve their really worthwhile aims. And it's these stories that we create that make it all worthwhile. Stories of how Anna was inspired to start Migration Hub and how we've helped Migration Hub to expand and how hundreds of refugees have benefited as a result. Stories of women in Ukraine who now are not subjected to sex slavery but actually have jobs and can support their families. Stories of how we've provided free coding to underprivileged girls, free tutoring to 90,000 young children who need it in countries. Stories of how we're helping out social enterprises in Peru. Stories of how we've provided clean, fresh water to thousands of people in need. Those are the stories that matter. And those are the stories that really motivate me. And they should motivate you as well. And so if you have not been involved in 180 Degrees in the past, I encourage you to get involved. What we are is really a movement. It's a movement of young people who want to use their skills and abilities, whatever they may be, to the benefit of society, who want to use their skills in the best way to make a difference. It's a movement that recognizes that doing good is both an emotional endeavor, but also an intellectual endeavor, because we need to approach problems in the best way possible. We need to operate in the best way possible, because I get frustrated when organizations could achieve more than what they are. I get frustrated when I see people on the ground who could benefit who don't. I get frustrated when in rural villages in Mozambique, people could have had high quality education and health, but because of the way that organizations were operating, they weren't able to achieve that. What we're about is transforming organizations so that lives are transformed in the ground. And I want to keep telling those stories because those stories are inspiring, they're motivating, and it reinforces why we do the work that we do. So thank you to all our consultants from around the world. Thank you to those best branches who have gone above and beyond and really achieved a lasting positive impact in the world. And I encourage you, if you haven't been involved, to get involved, because this is a community focused on creating impact and doing good, and you're very welcome to be a part of it.